And it's time for Lefties Losing It. And today Donald Trump pulled off a masterstroke in front of the world's media. He shamed South African President Cyril Ramaphosa with the ugly truth of anti-white, anti-Boer racism and violence in his country, an issue no other world leader is addressing. And he did it by playing a clip showcasing just how grim the situation is in South Africa. Turn down the lights.
Turn the lights down. Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land.
Of course, that saw the lefty media lose it en masse. Apparently, white farmers being targeted, being killed, having their land taken without compensation. It's all a conspiracy theory. Here is the thoroughly detestable Nicole Wallace on MSNBC.
Today, Donald Trump meeting with the president of South Africa and attempting to ambush and humiliate that leader inside the Oval Office. But what he did instead was embarrass and humiliate the people of the United States of America again. In his meeting with President Ramaphosa, Trump peddled unsubstantiated claims of genocide in South Africa of white South Africans, a group that ruled during apartheid in South Africa. It is a fringe conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory? What, like the virus coming from a lab or Joe Biden suffering cognitive decline? Yes, it's just another conspiracy theory. Let's check in on the sort of scenes witnessed in the South African parliament.
We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yes. South African occupy land. That's who we are.
And here, Julius Malema, parliamentarian and leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, says that there must be killing.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act.
And here is a stadium full of people all chanting, "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer." Now, this week's Secretary of State Marco Rubio's Senate committee hearing was interrupted by rational, totally sane protesters making valid points. Of course, I jest. It was the usual lefties losing it.
What is going on? Stop it! Israel is a genocide! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! I cannot live in peace. I will not be silent while there's a genocide going on!
No weapons to Israel.
Joining me now is Wrong Speak Publishing founder Adam B. Coleman. Adam, we covered the amazing scenes in the Oval Office earlier today with Douglas Murray. I want to play you an exchange between Senator Tim Kaine and Secretary of State Marco Rubio earlier in the week about the few dozen South African farmers granted asylum in the US. This has really upset many on the left.
You're not entitled.
So can you have a different standard based upon the color of somebody's skin? Would that be acceptable?
Well, I'm not the one arguing that. Apparently you are, because you don't like the fact that they're white, and that's why they're coming.
I'm just asking you to say that would be unacceptable.
Well, no,
that
I would say that the United States,
a very easy thing to say.
The United States has a right to pick and choose who they allow into the United States.
Even based on the color of somebody's skin.
No one's. You're the one that's talking about the color of their skin, not me. These are people whose farms were being burned down and they were killed because of the color of their skin.
Well,
Well, you've demonstrated enough, because you think anyone should be allowed into this country for any reason because they met a certain criteria.
Who has said that?
We are going to prioritize people that come into our country on the basis of what's in the interest of this country. That's a small number of people that are coming.
But you said this weekend that
but
there
in other
would be more.
cases, it's harder to vet. In other cases, it's more difficult. And by the way, the United States admits people every year.
Adam, anyone who has taken note of what is happening in South Africa in recent years knows full well the discriminatory laws, the violence targeted towards white landholders in particular. Why are the Democrats and so many in the media so eager to deny this and so perturbed by this smaller intake of Afrikaners coming into the country?
Well, it's because the Democratic Party is once again playing identity politics. And in their terms of identity politics, anyone who is white cannot be oppressed. they can only be oppressors. And they cannot see someone who looks like me or darker than myself as being someone who is oppressing someone else. And the reality is that, yeah, some of these people are facing discrimination and threats because of their skin color. So I really wouldn't care if it was someone who was being oppressed because of their skin color, their religious background, or any other factor. The fact is, Marco Rubio is making the point that these people are coming through because they're under threat. They are coming through because they are actual refugees coming from their nation. So they seem to be legitimate to me, and I really don't care where someone comes from. As long as they go through the process, they can come to the United States.
And it seems the Democrats are preoccupied with the skin colour. They're accusing the Republicans of favouring them because they're white, but really these are the only refugees, the only asylum seekers you can think of that the Democrats don't want to help. And you have to wonder why. Is it because of their skin colour? But Marco Rubio wasn't done yet. He then went scorched earth on Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen, who you'll remember a few weeks ago went down to El Salvador to visit a deported MS-13 gangbanger.
I have to tell you directly and personally that I regret voting for you for Secretary of State. I yield back.
May I respond?
You may, sir.
Well, first of all, your regret for voting for me confirms I'm doing a good job. In the case of El Salvador, absolutely. Absolutely. We deported gang members, including the one you had a margarita with. And that guy is a human trafficker, and that guy is a gangbanger, and the evidence is going to be clear in the days to come. You're going to see who you went to defend.
Senator,
I'm sorry,
please,
Mr. Chairman.
Secretary Rubio has the floor.
Mr. Chairman, he can't make unsubstantiated comments like that.
Secretary Rubio has the floor. You had your time.
Rubio should take that testimony to the federal court of the United States because he hasn't done it under oath.
Here's another point, okay? There is a division in our government between the federal branch and the judicial branch. No judge in the judicial branch cannot tell me or the president how to conduct foreign policy.
Mark Rubio is in fine form these days, Adam. It seems Trump's team has adopted his style. They're not backing down. They're bold. They're not trying to appease their ideological opponents. And I've got to say, it's pretty effective.
Yeah, it's very much so effective when you do the thing that the voters actually wanted. You know, there was a mandate that was put in place. A lot of Americans saw what was going on through the southern border. They saw what was happening in their local communities, what's happening within their cities. This is a very popular choice to actually strengthen our borders, to get rid of people who should not be here. And the fact is that the Democrats have played this game of doing the opposite of Trump, even if Trump is right. And so everyone is well aware that the Democrats are on the losing side of this issue. There is no winning when it comes to, simping for illegal immigrants and traveling to foreign nations and pretending like these people are your constituents. And I really, truly hope that the people who voted for that senator really regret their vote for him, because it's very clear he cares more about foreigners than he does about the American citizens or the legal immigrants who are in this nation.
And you mentioned the mandate that the Trump administration has, and here is Vice President J.D. Vance explaining that the courts cannot be allowed to set policy to essentially frustrate that mandate.
You cannot have a country where the American people keep on electing immigration enforcement and the courts tell the American people they're not allowed to have what they voted for. And that's where we are right now. We're going to keep working it through the immigration court process, through the Supreme Court as much as possible. And look, success to me is not so much a number, though obviously I'd love to see the gross majority of the illegal immigrants who came in under Biden deported.
Adam, is that what's happening here, a judicial insurrection of sorts where the courts are usurping the will of the American people?
That's what it appears to be. It appears to be lower courts, circuit courts, are challenging every move that Donald Trump is trying to make within his administration to actually follow through with the mandate we were just talking about. And part of the problem is that Donald Trump is trying to do it as fast and as large as possible when it comes to these deportations and try to keep up with the speed of the illegal immigrants who came into this nation. So he's facing a large, large hill And it's hard for them to do it as efficiently and effectively when you have these courts who are trying to impose basically constant challenges for things that they are claiming that they can and cannot do, and slowing down the process. The reality is that Joe Biden failed as a president when it came to protecting the border, and we had record numbers of people coming through. Donald Trump is trying to, in a very expeditiously way, pull these people out of our nation and to protect the citizens of this country, to protect our southern border. So, of course, he's going to face some sort of challenge, whether it's coming through the courts or other means.
Now, Adam, you wrote a fantastic piece in the New York Post about how no one wields dead black people more enthusiastically than progressive ideologues like the New Jersey mayor.
We, can relate to that because we was undocumented too. Well, I don't want y'all to be confused. Black folks, you was undocumented. You come from a whole line of undocumented people.
Adam, did you really compare ICE agents to slave catchers and compared illegal immigrants to slaves?
Yes, very much so he did. And as a voter in the state that he's attempting to become the governor in, I would never vote for him for the simple fact that, one, he's weaponizing my race and trying to bring up this whole racial rhetoric coming from slavery times as if they're equatable. The fact is, these people were not supposed to come here. The fact is, they came here, and now that their party is losing, this is their only constituents that they want to support. And so my issue as a voter is that why do they care more about them than they do about us? Why is he standing outside of ICE facility, but he's not standing outside of a warehouse where these people are taking American jobs, in particular, black jobs from black Americans in Newark, New Jersey, and throughout the state of New Jersey. So no, I do not trust that if this man was to get power, which it's unlikely that he will win. He right now is polling third amongst Democrats. But I do not trust that a progressive like him will get into office and actually care about American citizens like myself and our sovereignty. I think he will do everything possible to basically try to get illegal immigrants to stay, try to get them to become the underclass that they have been within New Jersey.
Well, it seems to be a stupid hill to die on, Adam, because the polling on this issue seems to be pretty clear. And the polling has changed over the years, but right now it seems to be that the majority of Americans want to see every illegal immigrant deported, not just the ones convicted of crimes, but every single illegal immigrant deported. But the Democrats are doubling down on this as a policy issue, and I just do not understand why they've picked this, because they're going to lose the argument every single time. Adam B. Coleman, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you.